What's happening, everyone? Today we're going to be listing the 5 best science fiction movies to watch in 2022. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5 on our list is Ex Machina, which released in 2014 and is directed by Alex Garland. The film follows the character Caleb Smith, who wins a contest allowing him to spend a week at the private home of his company's genius CEO, Nathan Bateman. Once Caleb arrives, he discovers that he has been chosen to participate in a Turing test, which determines the intellectual capabilities of a beautiful robot named Ava. But soon they learn there is much more to Ava than they could have ever predicted. So Ex Machina is one of the earlier films by A24, and it really is an incredible piece of science fiction. It touches on the themes of humanity, of artificial intelligence. Oscar Isaac gives one of his best performances to date as a narcissist who will do just about anything to further the name of science. So if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. I really think you'll enjoy it. Number 4 on our list is Total Recall, which released in 1990 and is directed by Paul Verhoeven. The film takes place in 2084 and stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as construction worker Douglas Quaid. Douglas visits a company named Recall, who implant false memories into people's minds so they can experience life on Mars without having to travel there. But the procedure goes terribly wrong, and Douglas realizes his whole life is a false memory, and the people who implanted it are out to kill him. Total Recall is a classic science fiction movie that if you haven't seen, you're missing out big time. It's funny, it has bloody action, and it has a pretty brilliant storyline that doesn't actually give you a definitive answer as to whether Quaid's life is an implanted memory or not. So it kind of leaves it up for a debate. Paul Verhoeven is one of the best directors of the 20th century, in my opinion. So if you liked RoboCop or Starship Troopers, you're going to love Total Recall. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, do me a huge favor, smash the like button. On to number 3. Number 3 on the list is Minority Report, which released in 2002 and was directed by Steven Spielberg. The film takes place in 2054 and stars Tom Cruise as Paul Anderton, who works for a special police agency called Pre-Crime, who detects and arrests murderers before the crime has ever been committed. Paul's life gets upended when he is accused of the future murder of a man that he has never met. I freaking love Minority Report. It is one of the most fun and engaging science fiction movies you will ever watch. Tom Cruise is amazing as Paul Anderton, and of course he does a lot of his own stunts, but the world that Steven Spielberg has envisioned in this movie feels grounded, it feels believable, and the way the technology is presented feels like a logical progression from where we are now. But make no mistake, this is an action movie, and it stops along the way to kind of give you some insights into free will, but it never comes across as preachy. So if you haven't seen Minority Report, give it a try. Number 2 on the list is Looper, which released in 2012 and was written and directed by Rian Johnson. The film is set in a future where time travel exists, but is only available on the black market. When the mob places a hit on someone, they are sent back into the past, where a hitman known as a looper then kills them. But one day, Joe's boss decides to close the loop, and sends Joe's future self back in time to be killed. Now I know when some of you hear the name Rian Johnson, you might cringe a little bit because of The Last Jedi, and I get that. But Looper really is a great science fiction movie that makes the most of its time travel premise. It's got Bruce Willis at his best, Joseph Gordon-Levitt at his best, and Rian Johnson really directs the hell out of this film. It's exciting, it has characters that you can root for, and Emily Blunt is actually in it towards the end, and she's fantastic. So if you like time travel movies, or you just like science fiction movies, Looper is a great choice. Aliens is a direct sequel to 1979's Alien, and follows Lieutenant Ellen Ripley, who has been found in a shuttle that was floating in deep space for 57 years. Ripley agrees to accompany experienced Marines down to a colony where they discover hundreds of aliens have decimated the population, with the only surviving member being a 9-year-old girl named Newt. As the Marines get picked off one by one, Ripley has to take up the mantle as leader, while fighting off hordes of acid-spitting aliens in a desperate dash to escape the planet. Aliens is one of the best action movies ever made, it's one of the best horror movies ever made, and it's one of the best science fiction movies ever made. James Cameron cemented himself as one of the most unique and imaginative directors of the 20th century with this movie. It is awesome. James Cameron took everything that was great about the original Alien movie and just cranked it up to 11. So if you like the original Alien, you are going to love Aliens. The action is so visceral, and everything really holds up today. Like, you're not going to watch this movie and be like, wow, this is so outdated. No, everything holds up. So if you haven't seen Aliens, you got to go see this movie. And if you're like me and you've watched Aliens 20 times, go watch it again, because it's worth it. So those are the 5 best science fiction movies to watch in 2022. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite science fiction movie is. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like these. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you later.